What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to JT's Mixtape. This is episode number 60. And if you guys are enjoying these podcasts, please give me a 5-star review on either Apple or Spotify. And if you're watching on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you.
Come closer, my child.
What's going on, y'all? This podcast is brought to you by Modern Roots Life. Modern Roots Life is a Christian-owned and operated company, and it's bringing real health back to its roots. They offer powerful, all-natural health supplements such as beef liver, cod liver oil, beef tallow, magnesium, and mineral-rich salts, all sourced the way God intended. Clean, simple, and from the earth. So whether you're looking to boost your energy, restore mineral balance, or just fuel your family with real nourishment, Modern Roots Life has got you covered. Guys, in this community, we're trying to get healthy in our mind, in our body, and our spirit. So don't neglect your health. If you want more information, check out modernrootslife.com and check the link in my description. You know, people often ask me how they can support me. Well, I think it's pretty cool if you can support me by supporting the people who support me, and you get something in return. And being healthy is a pretty good return. Well, we got the whole crew together today. Once again, I have my co-host with me, Aaron Tune Thy Heart. What's going on, Aaron?
What's up, guys?
And what's going on? My buddy Brian, Demon Racers. What's up, bro?
Nothing much, man. I got the Farquadian haircut cut off, so yeah, that's good.
And that's totally unrelated to the fire accident with the flamethrower.
Totally unrelated. Not even close.
Yeah, well, you know, so again, we're recording this before Christmas. By the time you guys see it, it will likely be after Christmas. But so I'm gonna do a light on that. We've done a lot of Christmas stuff lately, and I think I'm overdone. I had to get rid of the old background, so I'm going back to the old faithful, real IRL background. Maybe the green screen will come back out, but we'll see. But I wanted to play one Christmas video just because 'tis the season. You guys will still enjoy this. I want to see your take on how a mega church celebrates the birth of our Lord Jesus Christ.
Oh, no.
Because this news was
Wow. You know what it's like? It's like how Erica Kirk grieves.
I was literally going to make that joke. I was saying, I wasn't sure if I was watching a Charlie Kirk memorial service from TPUSA.
She was the production manager, is my guess.
Terrible,
As soon as I saw
terrible.
the woman coming down, like kind of dressed like Cinderella singing, I thought, is that Erica Kirk?
Terrible,
That's
terrible.
valid.
Oh man.
You know
Both
what?
those animals took a bunch of dookie on the stage.
That's why.
Sure,
okay,
they
so first questions. Is that cool? Is it cool? I mean, is the whole production and just like let's just take it out of a church setting? Is that cool what they were doing?
I don't
I
know,
mean,
man.
I think Jesus would have been flipping that whole building, to be honest with you. I mean, it's not, none of that's necessary. Like, none of that's necessary. It is the polar opposite of what he asks of us. The polar opposite in every single way.
I think the only thing that was really offensive to me was the Santa Claus in there, but I thought the camels were kind of cool.
Yeah, please, dude.
The camels were. I mean,
Please.
that was. You got to admit, you're like, that's pretty epic. That
Yeah,
they
that's a
had
good
all
use of the parishioners' money, I think. Excellent use. Yeah, I work so hard and give to my
Well, I
Lord
just said
and
I said you have
Savior.
to take out the church
Yeah.
setting of it, just like the theatrics of it. Was that I mean, it was kind of like a Cirque du Soleil type
Oh, and
event
he said,
that they had
check the
going on.
church setting out of it.
Yeah,
That changes the
Well,
whole
no, I was
context.
just saying, like, I mean, I was saying, like, that I was like, dang, it's pretty over the top. I mean, I got to give him credit, but yeah, I mean, it's not really how you would use a normal church. But I mean, of course, we're already talking about a mega church that this is probably the least offensive thing they do.
No, yeah, I get
year.
it. I get it. Well, they charge too for those. That
Oh,
the
I'm
one that
sure.
they charge admittance. It's like $75 a ticket.
What?
I believe it. I mean,
No
it's
way.
funny to think that they
Yeah,
got,
dude.
what did they have? 4 camels? It was like it was
I
more
thought
than
it was 5 or 6.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, they didn't skimp.
That's
They,
zebras. That's,
yeah, right.
And there was probably monkeys as well. I don't even know.
bro, I don't. Dude, the thing is, like, I think that's insane because it's like, obviously that money could be utilized to like help people. I mean, I wonder how many like people in their congregation are like dirt poor, broke, and suffering. And like secondarily, I wonder like, that could obviously be used to help a lot of other people outside of it. But here they are with their, money wasting in that church. I mean, coolness wise factor though, JT, to JT's point, because he liked the camels. If it wasn't in a church, is it a cool show to put on? Honestly, I'm not really into it that much. It's not. I mean, unless the dude's like got some like ninja skills and doing something impressive. I don't think flying around on cables is that cool.
I didn't even see a flamethrower in there. I didn't see any nunchucks or
Yeah,
anything.
it's boring to me. Come on, bro, do something cool. Don't just like walk around with a camel. Like, I don't know.
Maybe they didn't have time to show the guy eating the fire and swallowing a sword, Brian.
See, that would be more interesting to me. Like,
I mean, it definitely had that kind of Las Vegas vibe of, again, like Cirque du Soleil. They have all those gigantic over-the-top shows. I mean, that's never really been my thing. But of course, when I've gone, people have said, hey, let's go to the show. And at least you're not bored when you're there. I mean, a lot of the things you're seeing here, I mean, you're seeing incredible people doing all kinds of things. And I mean, I imagine they had to get those, I'm sure that those were not people who normally go to the church. It's not like they were putting on I've been to a church where
they're all on wire.
They're putting on a Christmas little play. And, I'm going to play like Zachariah as can't speak. I've been made mute, so I have no lines. But I mean, like, but you're getting normal people in the church to participate. But like, that's obviously, they must have had to go to these kind of Cirque du Soleil type people to get them to do that. Because obviously you can't just train somebody to flip on wires.
Or play the drums in the middle of the air.
I didn't see any flips. I would have been impressed if I saw flips. I just saw no flips.
They were spinning around in those things, right? They were flipping around.
Did you see flips?
I thought so.
Yeah, I think one of the people was doing flips on the trapeze type flips on the wires.
Maybe somewhat cool.
My initial thoughts when I see stuff like that, it's the same as all the megachurch stuff, but it's like to the nth degree. Like, that is the reason why people want nothing to do with Christianity.
Yeah.
That is the little reason why.
I don't know if that's the reason. I would say that
is one of many.
That's a sign of excess, but I would say that the main reason is because these people will put on a show like that, and they'll be passing around the offering plate like 15 times in one service, saying, "We haven't met our budget goals. Here, look at this big old thermometer. We're trying to fill up the money thing." And that's the thing. Is like you go over the top on something like that, and you imagine a church like that. What is the budget for the year?
But that's what I'm saying, though, is that's one of the main reasons, is because
it's not love.
At large, the church, that's not love.
I think that's
gross.
what it's really about, is that I'm sure that the way in their minds they justify it is, hey, we're going to put on this big production. We're going to get a lot of people who would normally come to church. They're going to come to church because, people who are quote unquote Christian who don't really attend church, they typically go to church around Christmas time, around Easter. So they're like, okay, we're going to really get them in here, and they're going to want to come back for next week. And then they'll be a member of the congregation, and then we'll fill our coffers with these people's money. Of course, maybe that's not exactly, that's realistically what it is, but probably they would say, we're going to preach the gospel to these people, and we're going to get people who don't know about church. And we're going to say, church is fun. Church is a giant show. And I mean, that church is. Is it fun though? I mean, I guess the thing is it fun? I guess it's depending on who you are. If you like that sort of thing, if that's your bag.
Yeah, if you just want to be entertained, then that's the church.
Well, that's what people
Yeah.
want.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We're gonna switch gears, and it's funny that me and Brian almost had that exact same joke about Erica Kirk. We're gonna get into that, and we're not gonna get so political here. We're just going to, I don't know, just talk about what we've seen with TPUSA. But I thought this was interesting. This will be a nice transition here because I did mention the Reckoning, the P Diddy documentary that I watched, and this is interesting. This comedian had a pretty funny take that kind of fits them all together.
Diddy wanted to throw a party in Los Angeles, and he made Biggie stay for it. At the end of the party, that's when Biggie was gunned down. You then watch how Diddy acts after that. He launches his own album. He's mega famous, and he's dancing at the MTV Awards. Like, you know, can you even fathom losing the person most important to you in your life? And then within weeks, you're already in the spotlight, launching your solo career, back in the studio, building off of the glamour that the person with you attracted this whole time. You're even meeting the president. Can you imagine anyone doing anything like that in September of 2025? Can you imagine? I'm just talking about P. Diddy. I'm not talking about E. Kirky. This is all allegedly. I was saying allegedly until I found out he's a Scorpio, and now I'm just like, okay, you know, like, you're innocent until proven Scorpio. That's just kind of how I roll. Sorry, Scorpios. 1 out of 12 chance you don't like that joke, okay? No, there's plenty of good Scorpios out there, like Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden, and name a good one, and we'll talk. What's wrong with Scorpios? Oh, there's nothing wrong with Scorpios. It was lit. No shit. But I fucking have a metaphorical gun to my head right now. What's wrong with Scorpios? Did you know I'm one? Clearly not. Probably would have avoided that joke altogether if I knew I was fucking surrounded. Have you ever physically hurt anybody? Okay, great. Do you need any more? You look at the data points. You're not crazy, of course. She's like, the voices in my head say that I'm amazing. I'm curious what Erica Kirk's sign is, actually. No. Sorry, guys. Yeah, she's a Scorpio. So how bad did you hurt your ex-husband? He's alive. That's good. Just like Charlie Kirk. Okay.
He was a human being. That's the best way I could describe him.
He's a human being.
Oh, the last word, the human being line. That's a weird.
That's interesting, huh?
Dude, that's a very weird connection there.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily validating all the stuff about the Zodiac that he was talking about, but it is kind of funny that the joke happened to be that, yes, she was one of those too. And yeah, I mean, it does seem there are some similarities between Diddy and her. Not all the similarities. I mean, don't take that for more than what I meant, but I mean, yeah, like who knew who she was before September 10th?
I didn't even know he was married.
I didn't know. I mean, I guess I didn't even care.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you think that if that's what Charlie Kirk would have wanted was his wife to be front and center, maybe she would have been on the stage before he died.
Good point.
Just a thought. So yeah, I'm gonna go a little bit heavier on the Erica Kirk stuff this episode, but trust me, it's funny. I'm gonna keep it light. You guys are gonna enjoy this, and if you don't, well, I'm sorry. This is my show. All right, check this out. This was a funny one. I'm bringing back the cartoons because I thought this was hilarious.
Erica Kirk, thank you for joining me. There are a lot of people out there claiming you had something to do with your husband being unalived. Do you have anything to say to them? Stop. Okay. That was kind of weird. These are pretty bold claims they're making. I was wondering if you had something more to say.
Stop!
Okay. You're kind of making a weird face. I just want to make sure. You don't want any harm to come to those defaming you or to the person that unalived your husband, right? Correct. I forgive him. I mean, I'm really happy that you can forgive. It's just, you seem to not have much to say to these people. Correct. But what about Candace Owens? Candace Owens?
Candace will be smited. Do not mistake God's silence for approval. The Lord sees every betrayal carried out in secret, and every cruelty justified by pride. Those who believe they have escaped the consequences because they prosper on social media misunderstand the nature of divine justice. God allows the wicked to move only so their choices may be fully testified against them. When judgment comes, it comes precise and unavoidable. No power and no reputation can shield a guilty soul from a just God who weighs the hearts of people and not the amount of fame they acquired.
That's all.
That's all.
Do you guys think that was accurate at all?
I mean, dude, I it's to the point where every single time I see something of her talking in public where it's a head scratcher. Because to me, it's not even about whether you're awake or not. I feel like no matter who you are in the world, if your frontal lobe has developed, that's like the only prerequisite. If your frontal lobe has developed and you're watching her and you're watching the way she's acting and how you're scratching your head baffled, going like, what is going on? Something is not right with this woman. Like something is so not right. It's just so bizarre. Everything about it is bizarre.
Yeah, it seems to me like that there are people who are willing to say it out loud and not worried about what people will say about them afterwards and how insensitive it might come off. And there's the other people who also notice it, but they think it would be indiscreet to mention those things out loud. Because there's nobody who doesn't see it. I can't believe that everybody thinks that it's that whole, everybody grieves differently. It's obviously a farce now.
It doesn't
Nobody
feel
really
like
believes
reality.
that.
It doesn't feel like reality. It feels like a bad B movie every single time I see a clip of her. For real. It doesn't feel real.
Well, it sounds like a bad B movie because she seems like she's like a Lifetime movie actress.
Totally, dude. Totally. She graduated from the Hallmark School of Gifted Children or something. I don't know, dude.
Bro, she's under hypnosis, man. That's why I try. She's MK Ultra for sure, bro.
There's no doubt about that.
Say what?
I don't know if it's hypnosis. I just think
dude, are you kidding me?
She's a handler, and
Bro, how do you think the handlers work?
I wonder if she's one of these people again, because she has this background in like the pageants and all that kind of stuff, and she did some acting for that role in the music video, that country music video she was in. And do you think that she thinks she's a better actress than she actually is?
The better question is, do you think she really won that pageant legitimately?
Yeah.
I don't think that anybody really wins those pageants legitimately. I think it's probably probably all a scam.
I think it depends on the pageant, but
depends on what they do in the back room.
I'm saying that there's probably a lot of factors in when it comes to any kind of sports that are judged based on a judge's opinion of things.
Judged based on old men's desires.
Well, even in like the Olympics, when you have like sports like gymnastics and figure skating, okay, this is a 10, this is a 7, this is a 9 point. You know what I mean? There's always been a lot of disputes about like the actual scores of these things, because when things are subjective, you leave a lot of room for here, I'll give you an Italian handshake with a little bit of money in it, and keep it fair, judge.
Dude, did you hear about Trump's announcement of the Patriot Games? It's like the Hunger Games, only the Patriot Games for children.
So all us peasants, when we're starving for food, will be able to elect one person.
Yeah, to be the Patriot Games.
Yeah, the next lockdown, we'll all have something to watch.
Oh my gosh, it's so ridiculous.
I'm moving to Cali so I can be near Brian. We're going to elect him to be our representative for the Hunger Games.
Let's do it.
He's got all the training skills and the bow skills, and
Put me in, coach. I'll flamethrower him. Hey, no, but I'll tell you right now. Yeah, right. This is the thing. Like this is my view. Okay, like when I see Erica Kirk and I saw how she was with Charlie. Do you remember that video they released where she's like on the video with Charlie, one of the first videos when she gets on the show, and he's like, this is my wife, and she's like, Charlie, like she's like so like wide, like
what is she saying? Like that I can't even focus. He's so handsome or something like that.
Yes, that. Okay, she's under hypnosis right there. Like that's what I'm telling you.
I think she's just being a bad actress, bro.
No. She is a bad actress because she's not in control. That's how people under hypnosis act. Do you not know? Like when people are under hypnosis, they're.
How come she couldn't remember things? Like remember the other one where it was like, I think it was a different podcast, and she was asking her when they were married, and she's like, "We were married in 2021."
She couldn't remember anything, dude. She couldn't remember how many kids they had.
Because that's
what she was saying. She's saying she's got so many dates to remember that it's hard for her to remember dates. When you ask any female, I mean, men are bad at remembering dates. But we typically remember what year we got married.
You're validating my point, JT. By the way, keep going. Keep going.
I'm just saying that I'm not saying you're absolutely wrong, but I'm saying either way, she's a bad actress.
No, okay. See, look, when you're under hypnosis,
well, put it this way, Brian. When she did Barry Weiss's show, it was a scripted questionnaire, so she got the questions beforehand, and she was like reading off a teleprompter. So I don't know if she's hypnosis to remember all this stuff, but she, like, the way that she would talk and she would pause for like effect, it seems like a soap opera star.
And dude, in the eye thing, when she paused and her eyes get all real big. Bro.
Every single thing that she's done, like all of her accomplishments that we know about, that we're learning, feel like a bucket list for a little girl that wants to be a princess and has the parents that can pull the strings to make it happen. Every single thing in her life, it feels like it's just a bucket list of like, whatever you want, sweetheart. Like Veruca Salt, dude. That's what it feels like.
Well, okay, look, listen. So when you got to understand the hypnosis part, because when you see it, you won't unsee it, guys. You're going to be like, oh, this makes perfect sense. Like that girl, Erica Kirk, is somebody who has been molested. She has been traumatized.
Brian, you don't know that.
I'm telling you right now, this is my guess.
You don't know that, but you're saying that like with so much like certainty. But like, you don't know that.
Okay, I don't. You're right. But here's what I'm going to say. There's something traumatic that has happened to that girl. Okay, and I can see it all over her face. So like when trauma hits somebody, there is a certain sort of response the body goes into. She has got trauma response mind. Like, bro, that's the way
I'm gonna help you
people...
out here really quick, Brian. What he's saying is she responds like somebody who has.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
That would be that'd be better than saying like.
I'm sorry. I speak terribly.
I'm trying to do you some favors, bro.
I don't speak very good. Okay, but anyways, so what I'm saying is she has trauma response. Like she has symptoms of trauma response, and so like that to me is like your MK Ultra. The way she's responding is like the way she pauses, the way that, like you said, JT, every woman knows their dates. The fact that she forgets her dates, and she's the thing that she said about forgetting dates was
so many dates to remember because she has 2 children. Like, I think that's what a lot of people have, 2 children and remember their birthdays and the days they were married and all that kind of stuff.
That is evidence of somebody who is in a dazed state, okay, and hypnotic state. Because when
it's easier to remember dates too when your children are very young.
Yes,
you got married 4 years ago. Like,
bro,
it would be really easy to remember those dates.
Exactly.
It's harder when you're older and you're like, what year was my kid born? Like,
exactly.
I think they're 13.
Exactly. Okay, so
then you have to think about it for a second.
Yep.
Yeah. Like she's of course, I'm also menopause.
I'm also a guy who thinks about different things all the time. But yeah, like a woman, you ask your wife what year your kid was born, what their birthday is. If there's any hesitation, then there's something wrong.
Okay, there you go. Okay, so what I'm saying is they took this girl who's been traumatized, they put her through MK Ultra programming, and they said, this is your role. This is who you're going to be. This is what you're going to do. And then they said, sleep. And then they said, Erica Kirk, you are in love, or Erica, you are in love with Charlie. He is the best thing in the world. He's the best thing you've ever seen. Wake up.
Oh, he's
and
so
then
handsome.
She's like, oh my gosh, I just can't stand. Like, bro, that's a woman. She's under hypnosis, bro. When you see her face respond like that, that is not a normal response. The way she's responding, she is totally a hypnotized subject. Mind you, she is a controller, right? But at the same time, she's also a victim in this regard because she's also like, she doesn't realize what she is. She's like, she was put under sleep and said, you are in love with Charlie Kirk. He's the most handsome man in the world.
The funny thing is
given to her. Do you see what I'm saying?
The funny thing is too is that I mean I'll give you that that's possibly true. The thing that I think is interesting is that she did, maybe it was with Barry Weiss, and she was saying she didn't date before Charlie Kirk, and then they come out to be proven that she did. And let's just say the 2 guys she dated before Charlie Kirk were better looking than him.
She was engaged, dude.
The funny part is like to act like I'm so you're so enamored with him. I mean, like Charlie Kirk, not saying he wasn't a catch or something like that, but I mean he was not handsome, like, you know, just aesthetically handsome. You probably liked his character. He was a well-to-do guy. He did a lot of things, but handsome is not probably one way you describe Charlie Kirk. The guy she was with before, and then she's acting like she's fawning over him like he's, you know, Fabio or something like that. It's so disingenuous seeming. But you know what? I want to play some video.
Hypnosis. That's all I'm saying.
I want to pepper in some of these videos because, again, let's keep it light and fun. This is I really like this one.
Aren't you angry at the man who murdered your husband? The enemy would love for me to be angry. He would love it. How do you feel about your husband's murderer now? I forgive him. He's troubled. I know this is really hard for you, but is there anything that you would like to say to Candace Owens?
Stop.
That's all.
Stop.
She is demonic. She has a virus, a mind virus. She's mentally unwell and sick in her head. I don't want people to be focusing on this. What I want people to be focusing on is Charlie Kirk's new book, which is out now. What we need to be doing is visiting Israel. We all need to be going to Israel to honor Charlie in Israel. Shabbat shalom.
Bro, the way she changes is exactly that's yeah.
People are noticing. So I mean, we're not the only ones. I mean, that one was brilliant though. I like that. What's important is Charlie Kirk's got a new book out. It's available now. You can buy it. In Israel.
In Israel. Yeah. Hypnosis. That's all I gotta say.
I mean, go ahead.
For me, I feel like is it backfiring?
I think so.
kind of.
I think it absolutely is. I think that there was a lot of people. I want to say myself included. I mean, I think we said from the very beginning when she did the real creepy thing with the coffin and had somebody film her for Instagram, like that. It was. I think we acknowledged pretty soon that we were saying that was weird. That was weird. We both said we were surprised that she gave that speech so soon afterwards, and then the creepy thing around the coffin. But I think a lot of people were trying to say, I was keeping my powder dry for a while. But then it was when they did the memorial with all the pyrotechnics and everything, I laughed when I saw the memes of everybody grieves differently, than Iron Man's coming in, making his appearance, and to AC/DC. Because I was like, wait a minute, is this a funeral? I'm not even sure what I'm looking at. Like, this is really weird that there's fireworks and stuff at this thing.
Yeah, because I think in the very first podcast when you and I talked about it, it was super fresh. And I remember one of the comments I made, he had a wife. He had kids. That was someone's husband. That was someone's father. Those were my initial responses. And like that's how I genuinely felt. And then, slowly but surely, some of these things started popping out like back to back over and over again. And it's just like, nothing is normal about this. Like nothing, dude. Nothing. Like you would think it's at this point, her media team would have at least like filmed an AI version of her and put out a video that was normal, right? We haven't had one of those. There hasn't been one normal video. There hasn't been one. They could have filmed her for an hour and spliced in the few segments that seemed natural and normal. There's been not one single video I've seen of her where she's representing herself well.
And everybody asks, where the heck are her kids at? Because I
Or
think
pictures
that's what a lot
of her
people
being
said.
pregnant even.
Yeah, so there was. I want to say that she did. She might have mentioned on the Barry Weiss interview that she was saying that she didn't have any pictures of her pregnant because she gained a lot of weight. And I said that's weird. That's a weird thing. It's almost like you had to say that because I'm sure, the internet is pretty much undefeated as far as like looking up information. They'll say, I'm sure somebody asked that right away. Is there any pics of her pregnant?
Yeah, because heaven forbid you gain weight and have healthy children and be a little chubby when you're like you should be when you're having a kid. Like,
well,
what?
I asked my wife. I said, "Is there really any women, especially in today's day, where the first time they get pregnant, they're starting to eat a baby bump, that they're not taking pictures of, like, at least
because
for
it
their
doesn't
own,
look like a baby bump at first."
Well, I mean, the point is you're not trying to. It doesn't need to be for the public. But I would say that most women are going to be proud that they're pregnant and want
in front of a
want to
mirror
track
or
the
something?
progress. I want to read this one verse because I know a lot of people were saying this was insensitive. Even Mike Winger on X the other day said that this is. Actually, I'll just pull that up on here. He was saying that people questioning Erica Kirk are sinning. You heard that?
No.
Oh, yeah,
That's
check.
absurd.
And so it said, here's what Mike Winger said. Christians who entertain speculative theories about Erica Kirk are violating biblical commands to care for widows and orphans. I mean, you are sinning. And of course, I quoted 1 Timothy 5, 3, and 4. Honor widows that are truly widows. But if a widow has children or grandchildren, let them first learn to show godliness to their own household and to make some return to their parents, for this is pleasing in the sight of God. And of course, then I said, Erica is not a true widow according to the Bible, at least according to the eyes of the church, because that's what it was about. It was like the church is supposed to care for widows, but she's not really truly a widow because she does have a family.
Yeah,
and her first
money.
responsibility is to them, to her children. And then if she needs help, she needs to go to her parents. So like that we don't need, and for one, she's like a multimillionaire.
Yeah.
So she's not really talking about like the widows in the Bible, but talk about twisting scriptures to say, if you ask questions about this situation and you notice her very odd behavior, you're not allowed to call it out. And I mean, this is totally antithetical to what Charlie Kirk spoke about family values and about how, I think that I don't think that he ever thought he was getting a trad wife, but I think that Charlie Kirk was promoting that idea, like traditional values. Like if a husband can work and the wife can stay home and raise your children, that is better. I don't think it doesn't mean that women can't work or not capable of working, but it's better to let your blood raise the family regardless of what kind of job you could get, because otherwise you're going to get somebody else to raise your children. And then you get a place like America in 2025 where the families are disconnected. I don't know. It's very interesting. And I got another video to play about that. But what do you guys think about Mike Winger? That hot take he's got. Are we sinning right now?
I mean, there are moments where I'm sitting here thinking like we're three grown men sitting around gossiping about a woman that we don't know. But like my thing is, I'm really only questioning the things that like I think anyone that understands psychology 101 would question. Like there's just so many things that don't make sense. I feel like I'm being lied to. I feel like I'm being like I feel like we're being lied to.
You feel like you're being part of a psychological op.
Yeah, like they're trying to punk us. And that's what I very much am against. And it's the psychological things, like, and I don't know if you're going to play this video. If you are, I apologize, but there's a video out there where she loses her iPad, won't load her script.
Yeah.
And are you planning on playing that video?
No, I don't have that one.
So she goes off the rails. She doesn't have a script. And so she's speaking from memory. And she makes the comment, literally, she says, once Charlie Kirk was assassinated.
Yeah, right. Not after, once.
She didn't say, yeah, after he was assassinated, when he was assassinated. She says once. And like, psychologically speaking, people usually only say once when it's foreshadowed. When there's a plan and then it's carried out. And they say, once we were married.
Once this happened. Yeah, like
once I got my job.
Once this episode premieres.
Correct.
It seems like because you knew it was going to happen.
So freaking weird. It's little things like that. I don't know if you plan on playing the Nicki Minaj one, but
I've got one that kind of encapsulate all that stuff. But she actually had another slip where she had some young guy come up on stage, and she was saying he's got a grift. She was like, she got caught. She was tripping over her words. She was meant to say gift.
Yes,
and she said
that same video.
Yeah, she said grift, and you're like, that's how did you get that word? Like that was at the tip of your tongue for some reason.
And I could be wrong, but I think the guy she's talking to in that moment, like, this is what I heard. This could be a rumor, but I heard that I think that guy and the guy that's going to be replacing Charlie on campuses is actually her ex.
Oh, it's the guy Cabot Phillips. I think that he's doing a lot. Yeah, that he's one of the guys who was. Yeah, that again. She said she didn't have a boyfriend, and then she famously have a boyfriend. I want to say he's like, what is he? The editor at the Daily Wire.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know, but I know she was engaged and she had a full blown like wedding shoot and or an engagement
Oh
photo
yeah.
shoot.
She had a previous boyfriend, yeah, that looked like that they might have been engaged. So this is all within the past years that she was saying she was not dating. But yeah, I want to just correct something, or not correct something, or just clarify something, because I know what you said about how you feel like it's three grown men talking about this woman, but we're talking about her behavior as CEO of a $100+ million company. And I think that's the difference, is that when people ask for privacy, but then also that they're very public, this is not a situation where, let's just say, things went like kind of maybe how I imagined them to, like right away. Like after this, I was thinking, like, gosh, if that happened to somebody I loved, how would I be? And I think I would withdraw. I probably wouldn't be out in the public a lot. And you imagine if it was like, you know, douchebags like digging through her trash looking for like stuff, and she literally does just want to be left alone. She's with her family. Maybe she's, they're in the Hamptons or something like that, where they're like isolated from people, and then you have people kind of going after them, kind of like that tabloid mess where she's getting her picture taken and stuff like that. And then we're trying to ask like if she's doing everything right. Then this is too different. Like I said, this is something that, unfortunately, and I'm sure a lot of people probably say, oh, they're talking about Erica Kirk still. That's kind of how I feel too. But when, of course, I try to do any show prep for the show weekly, this is all everyone's talking about. I mean, it's not like it's the only thing. And of course, we got more topics coming up after this, but that she has been shoved in our faces big time. And so this is the natural reaction. So obviously there's a million examples of people poking fun at her behavior, because if
She's
it
pop
was
culture right now.
Right. If it was no, but I'm saying, but like, this is what she wants. And that's what we joked at the beginning of the show, when you have that super over the top Christmas thing at that mega church. That's what this is like. It's kind of like, now you don't want me to notice that Santa Claus just flew by at the TPA USA event. Am I supposed to think this is normal?
Yeah.
No, see, that's the psychological part of this. And it's like, this is the gaslighting, where it's like, if you think this is weird, you're a sinner. Thanks, Mike Winger. Like, who asked you, by the way?
Yeah, that's so ridiculous, dude.
So,
of
like,
all of the sins to call out,
Yeah.
that one, that's the sin we're calling out.
Here's the difference. Like if let's say I knew Erica Kirk and I knew personal stuff about her behind the scenes, and then I was talking about her personal stuff before everybody, I think that would be wrong. I think that would fall into the category of gossip. But if we're analyzing character traits or behaviors that somebody is exhibiting, I don't think that falls into that category, because you're the one that's done it. You're the one that, like Eric Kirk, you can come on the show and clearly have a conversation with us. Doubt you will, but here you are. Here's your invite. You want to come on the show and have us shut up talking about you and tell us what's really going on. But as far as we can see, we're speculating what sort of things to make people aware of the deception that's going on, honestly, because something's not right. And I think people need to hear it, because otherwise they're being lulled to sleep by spells that you're trying to cast on everybody, and it's not working very well, by the way.
Well,
Yeah,
and for comparison, I'm not even married yet, but the woman that I love, if something were to happen to her, even remotely close to that, even if
You
it
would
was
never
in private,
talk about it.
you guys wouldn't even see me
Yeah.
for months. I wouldn't even be on, like, for real. You guys would have to pray for me, because you wouldn't hear from me or see me publicly or on this podcast for months. It would take me, like, it would mess me up.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's and also to your point, Brian, that this would be like me asking for privacy as I do a podcast 2 times a week.
Public,
Like,
yeah.
I'm not talking about, like, I mean, obviously, I think anybody who does anything publicly, I want the thing. If you want to analyze anything, analyze the things I've said on this show. Analyze the videos I've made on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook.
For sure.
Now, we're not talking about like going, like, trying to dig into my personal life and affect my family. That's not what
Yeah.
we're doing here.
No.
This is like stuff that is obviously open to the public, and this is stuff that's brand new, and every day this stuff is going on. You're going on a book tour, you're going on every major news network, and then you have these massive events with literally pyrotechnics and fireworks. And that is what we're talking about. So we're analyzing the things that are shoved right in our faces, which, again, you can't have. unfortunately, so you can't really avoid it when you go on the internet now because it's everywhere. Now I want to play this last.
Forcing it on us.
Yeah, I want to play this last video and then we'll move on from here. But yeah, this is kind of what we're talking about, this TPUSA event and some of the interesting celebrities that were invited.
Turning Point USA just had their first major conference without their founder, Charlie Kirk, and a lot went down. JD Vance took to the stage and said,
"In the United States of America, you don't have to apologize for being white anymore."
He continued saying, or if you're Asian, you don't have to talk around your skin color when applying for college because we judge people based on who they are, not their ethnicity. Erica Kirk brought out a surprise guest, Nicki Minaj, where she spoke about many things, including a lot about the persecution of Christians in Nigeria. However, in the most viral moment, there was an extremely awkward point where she seems to accidentally refer to JD Vance as an assassin.
And you have amazing role models like the assassin JD Vance, our vice president. And when I say that,
trust me, there's nothing new under the sun that I have not heard, so you're fine. Yes, we did.
The Democrats decided to get involved by replying to a post about Nicki's appearance with a picture reading PDF file protectors with a caption reading checks out. Others then started clipping moments of when Charlie Kirk previously said that he doesn't think that Cardi B or Nicki Minaj are good role models.
Minaj, Cardi B.
Okay, Nicki Minaj is causing dads to leave the home.
Hold on a second. I don't think that's a good role model for 18-year-old black girls. I don't.
Erica Kirk then took to the podium to say,
"We are going to get my husband's friend, JD Vance, elected for 48 in the most resounding way possible."
There were dozens of celebrity speakers, including Russell Brand, Rob Schneider, and they even recreated the tent where Charlie Kirk was murdered. And the reporter said,
and people are taking selfies with it.
America Fest was a 4-day-long event which gathered an estimated 30,000 people and was attributed to the late Charlie Kirk.
Why am I kind of liking the Democrats slightly for like their comment? This is hilarious.
Dude, they're right about a lot of stuff lately.
I would have liked that comment. I would definitely like that comment. That'll be the next subject. We're going to touch on Epstein a little bit here in a second, but no. How about that? How about talk about the major Freudian slip of the assassin, JD Vance, our vice president,
and then it just got worse and worse.
And talk about how inept of recovery that was. There's nothing new under the sun. I've heard everything. Like what
does that mean?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
I don't think that was a slip, obviously. Like she literally pauses, chooses her words carefully, looks at the audience and the camera, then says it. She intentionally said that. There was no mistake there. And then she also
I believe she didn't try to correct herself. That was weird. It's like she held and paused just like Erica Kirk does for emphasis.
She held her like stance on that, and she was intentionally trying to publicly shame Erica. 100%. She was literally shaming Erica because then she made the comment. Because she made that comment about JD Vance and goes, Like, do you remember the you have to find the clip, but do you remember that when she
hair?
Do you remember when he was touching her face and they met on stage? And
the
she
black
said
leather
something?
pants.
Yes,
the morning pants.
And my dear friend JD Vance. And then she goes,
She's like massaging the back of his head.
But she made a noise like that right before JD Vance came out on stage. She was mocking her.
You think she was mocking her?
1,000,000%, I believe she was mocking.
I didn't get that take from it. I think it's interesting calling JD Vance the assassin because I can't help but think about Brian. You remember we were talking about when Pope St. Francis when he died? It was like JD Vance visited him like the day before.
Yeah,
do you remember that?
See, that makes me think like, okay, like here's the deal. Like the Lord...
I saw there was memes of him being like the Grim Reaper. Remember that?
Yeah. I vaguely remember that. Yeah, the thing is like the Lord lets things like this happen to just like give people enough of a recognition or a hint. And it's like, bro, calling him the assassin is so weird. Like, what if JD Vance is the one that called the hit? Like, what if JD Vance is actually the one?
Well, the thing is, I mean, we'll put it this way: if this is some kind of an intel agency, foreign or domestic, that had anything to do with this, then yes, the the White House has to give the okay for this to happen here. Because otherwise, if they didn't have the okay, then they would have to respond. So, of course, if that did happen, and just think about the whole thing about, like, the real question is, why the heck is Nicki Minaj there at all? Based on the things that Charlie Kirk has said about her, about the kind of things that she promotes. She's the one who was having I want to say she spoke about having this spirit possessor named Roman.
Yes.
Remember that, Brian?
Straight demons, bro. And she says it was born and it speaks and it says things and it takes control of her. She is fully demonized, guys. She has a demonic spirit that's running that woman. And Charlie Kirk didn't like her and didn't talk good of her. And then she's on the stage. Like, Charlie Kirk's rolling over in his grave right now. Charlie Kirk's probably like, why are we putting this hoe on stage? Okay. Like, that's probably what he's thinking. Like,
I'm not a body language expert, but I'm pretty good at paying attention to the way people react and act physically around other people. It's just one of my tism quirks. But she doesn't like Erica. She
you don't think
loathes
so?
her. Not at all, dude.
It did seem weird the way that Erica Kirk said, "I love you." You know, like she said it very softly. Like,
oh yeah, she was trying to get her to
like,
calm down. She was trying to get her to be like, "Yo, I thought we were friends. Like, I love you. So chill out." Like what else could she say? She couldn't say stop. She couldn't say chill out. She couldn't say something that a lip reader was going to be able to interpret later on and say, "Dude, she's like going off script right there." So the only thing she could think of to say was, "Hey, I love you." Like, she was trying to counteract what she was doing by telling her that she loves her. But it's very clear to me in that clip, Nicki Minaj is literally reaming her in front of the public eye. That whole thing is literally spitting in Erica's face.
You know what? I have to say that does make a little bit of sense to me. I didn't think about that before, but yeah, because just going back to it, Nicki Minaj had plenty of time to correct herself.
1,000,000%. She keeps her mouth shut and doesn't even look. She won't make eye contact with her. Watch it again thinking this way. For real.
You know, it's interesting.
What a weird word to say, though. Like, she chose the word assassin. It's almost like Nicki Minaj is a part of this inside club and has some understanding. Then
she knows something we don't.
If you're suggesting that, you would be like, it's like behind the stage, Nicki really wanted to be with JD Vance, and so she's just like pissed or something. Is that like the idea?
No, I think it's, maybe she has some inside information that we don't know, but connecting it with Erica Kirk, even the whole thing where she is talking about JD Vance becoming president in 2028.
Bro, she called Trump dashing.
This is so weird to say that JD Vance, like, you're having this event. It's well before the midterms, and she's already talking about him being the president. It's so weird that, again, if you guys believe Charlie Kirk's dead, her husband just died 3 months ago, and now we're talking about JD Vance becoming president, and she's the one who's cheerleading out there for him. It's really weird. I mean, I think it's so off. And what's really off is having people pose by the tent that was
that's so
the crime
disturbing.
Scene.
It's so disturbing, dude. It's so disturbing. Do me a favor, knowing my stance and what I just said, play that video clip again, going into it, looking at it from a perspective of Nicki Minaj loathing Erica.
You want me to play it one more time?
Yeah. Go into it with the mindset that Nicki Minaj loathes Erica and she's trying to humiliate her on stage.
Okay, I'll skip right to that part.
And you have amazing role models like the assassin JD Vance, our vice president. And when I say that,
trust me, there's nothing new under the sun that I have not heard, so you're fine. Yes, we did.
What is
the eye blink afterwards? Like, I didn't stutter.
You know what you're right about? I give you credit, Aaron, that she was like, I'm not taking this back, and she did kind of just flick her eyes. Like, I mean, the thing is the way she said it when she said the assassin, and then she paused and she said, our vice president, JD Vance, and then she
crowd. None of that was a
it was
mistake.
very weird. I think you might be onto something. I mean,
Yeah,
the point is,
may not
she
have been a
meant to say
mistake.
that. She didn't misspeak. She meant to say that. So the real question is, why did she mean to say that?
I think
Yeah,
I
that's
think
the
Brian's
weird.
also right though. I think she knows something that we don't. You also have to understand too, like Nicki Minaj comes from a world where you don't play like that. Like there is a real life that you live outside of the public eye, and like she's friends with people that aren't afraid to put people on the ground. You know what I'm saying? Like for real. Like she doesn't play when it comes to that kind of stuff. And so she sees all of this stuff that Erica's doing, and there's just something there, but there is a loathing in her towards Erica.
Brian, I got a question for you. Did Nikki say that, or did Roman say that?
That's a really good question. I can't quite tell from that video, but I mean,
you know what I'm saying? Like, if you really think about it,
could
this
be.
woman's already openly admitted that she's possessed by this demon named Roman.
Is it fitting that
And-
it's Roman because it's like the Roman Empire? Roman
Could be. But yeah, the way that, she looked at her when she finally did open her eyes back up and looked at her. She kind of glared. It looked like she was glaring at her.
Blinked her eyes like I said what I said, and I meant it.
I agree with you. But anyways, moving on. That's very interesting. So again, the rest of the show will be Erica Kirk free, I think. But what else was the big news here was the Epstein files were released, and they were basically as black as this hat on most of the pages.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right. Somebody said, yes. I saw somebody, it was a meme where this guy was wearing a black shirt. It's like, oh, you're wearing the Epstein file shirt.
That's hilarious.
But
That's
check
pretty
this
funny.
out. This was interesting. So a lot of the big news was a lot of the photos have been released, and this video I really enjoyed.
Jeffrey Epstein. I don't know who that man is.
But I would love to get a photo with him.
I'm sorry, who's here? Jeffrey Epstein? The man with the evil island? I've heard some very bad things.
Would he take a photo with me, though?
No, sorry, I can't make it tonight. I have dinner with this
mysterious man who I've never heard of before, yet I'm giving my time to.
Jeffrey Epstein. Have you heard of him?
We will be taking a photo together.
Yes, I do run a giant tech corporation, and I take it very seriously, but if 90% of my time is not spent taking photos with Jeffrey Epstein,
then what is it all for?
I just want to make it clear, though, that I do not know no one knows who this man is, but we all need to get a photo with him for some reason. I'm sorry, what's her name?
Ghislaine Maxwell?
I don't know who that is, but her name starts with Jizz, so...
Get her in the photo op.
I don't know who that is, but would he take a photo with me?
Yeah, yeah.
We will be taking a photo.
But we will. That was the best one. But we will be taking a photo. Did you see that one guy? That one guy that was like on the news that came out. They were interviewing him, and I forget who it was, but he was just like, he's like, I just want to make it very clear that I don't know Jeffrey Epstein. I never met Jeffrey Epstein. I wasn't friends with Jeffrey Epstein. And then the host goes, so these photos of you here, and they display the photos, and they go, this is not real. And he goes, oh, I must have met him when I was doing like housing development stuff, and you know what, I might have flown on his plane like once before. And the guy's like, the dude's like, oh, because that's a really big change of tone from the previous statement you were just saying. Like, it's so funny.
See, I've got a theory with the pictures with Epstein, and because somebody sent me the pictures of Michael Jackson with him, and it looked like Michael Jackson did not want to be there. It looked like he did not want to be there, and he did not want to be in the pictures. And
sure.
I think that what was happening was, I think sometimes these people were probably threatened to go to these things, or at least take pictures with him. I would imagine that someone was going around and trying to take these opportune moments to take pictures with him. I don't think the celebrities were saying, "Get our picture." You know what I'm saying? I think it was against their will.
You think it had something to do with the fact that if this was all some kind of intel blackmail operation from like maybe Mossad, that they want to make sure that he's in the picture with them too, so then they cannot hide their connections with him, and they might eventually. Like the Michael Jackson one is interesting because I want to say that there was somebody who came out and defended Michael Jackson, and his bodyguard did too, and he said that was not at his island. I think he was saying that Michael Jackson was looking to buy like a house in that area, and it was Epstein who wanted to take a picture with him.
Yeah, he
And
did
so-
not want to be in those pictures.
and
dude. You
they
can tell.
blacked out the faces like there was children around, but it was Michael Jackson's kids. So I mean, I don't know if that's true. I mean, the thing is, everybody who was anybody, it seemed like, from politics to sports to celebrity, they were all at these parties. And they knew what these parties were about. Just like I said, it's
Yeah.
the same thing with the Diddy parties where, okay, you might be able to forgive somebody for going once, but if you went twice, then you knew exactly what you were getting into. They probably
agree with
knew
that.
they probably knew right away, but the thing
Well, it
is,
doesn't mean they were implicated. I still think maybe
well,
they
they'd be like,
knew,
"Oh,
but
this guy Jeffrey Epstein throws the best parties." Like, "Oh, what's there?"
yeah.
like, what do you mean by that?
well,
Obviously, we've been
they
to some great
segregate
parties.
it.
What makes these ones special?
They segregate the parties to get people to go there at least 2 times before they realize what's really going on. So that way you're implicated more. So they'll like they'll segregate the real atrocities in a special room that they don't let people go into. A lot of times they like have a separation. There's actually a pretty popular, this is this girl that she's semi-famous on Instagram and like tried to do some like acting stuff, I guess. And she went to a party and it was somebody like Winehouse like came up to her immediately and was like, "Oh my gosh, you're so amazing. Let me get a photo with you." And it was the first thing he did was take a photo with her. And then she was like, "Yeah, okay." And she just thought it was like a photo with just some random person. And then he turns out later he's like a really bad dude. But she didn't realize who the guy even was at first. So they do this. They'll jump in, get a photo with you first, act like you're really famous, and then the person's pride to take a photo. "Yeah, I'll take a photo with you." It actually feeds into their blackmailing system because they have this photo with you and you're like, what are you going to say awkwardly? "Hey, delete that photo. I don't even like you. I don't even know you. Don't like delete that photo with me." You know what I'm saying? So it's like part of their trick.
Again, it makes sense to me that he is or Ghislaine are trying to get in photos with these people. So then there's no deniability that they have any kind of relationship with them. So it'd be like, well, where was this? Because then if you see the picture, you're like, so where was this picture taken? Oh, was that his house? Oh, is that the island? And now you're like, so regardless, maybe that's part of it where that, let's just say they did not get all the dirt on this person. Just the appearance that, all the other stuff connected with it, like this will look bad when something bad happens to me. If you try to implicate me, then your association with me is enough to at least give people a perception that, yeah, because we don't really know who took part in what. But of course, at this point, the more that they try to hide the stuff, the more we assume the worst of all the people involved.
Yep.
And so that's really not fair to the people who, again, that if you're famous and you live in the area of Florida with him and you went to his mansion when they were throwing this party, you should have said, all these celebrities are going to be there. It's going to be awesome. And you show up, you have no idea what you're getting into. And so now we say, oh, well, this person went to Epstein's party, so therefore they're definitely a pizzophile. I mean, that's not necessarily fair, but maybe it's not unfair to actually wonder aloud, well, if they know this guy, and most of these people like Bill Gates, they knew him, their relationship was long after he had all the allegations against him that eventually got dropped for some magical reason. Everybody kind of knew. These allegations are old, and I want to say that Trump just came out because they were asking about the pictures. And Trump is defending Bill Clinton and saying how they're friends and they get along. And he was basically acting like you need to protect the people that are in the pictures because not all of them could handle all the things that people are saying about them now. Gosh, Trump is he's the worst.
Dude, how do we fall for him ever? Gosh.
Like I said, I didn't fall for him the second time. I voted for him twice. I voted for him in 2016 and 2020, but I did not vote for him in 2024.
Yeah, me neither.
I mean, he sucks. He sucks bad.
He's so terrible. And dude, it's weird when Nicki Minaj is now saying that he's our dashing president. You're like, what? What'd she call him? Handsome and dashing like, dude. This is even weirder. Like it's like the whole sides are flipping in some regard.
All right, I think we need a palate cleanser now. Let's watch a video about Let's just watch a random video. This video is really interesting.
This is going to be the weirdest story you've heard all year, I promise. Imagine you go to a doctor's appointment to discuss an upcoming surgery. You have never been there before in your life. But when you walk in, the staff all react like you were just there. They say, "Oh, did you have to come back for some reason?" And you say, "I've never been here before." And the receptionist says, "Okay, is your name?" And they say your name and spell it. You say, "Yes, that's my name." And they continue to insist that they have spoken to you before, very recently, and in fact say, if it wasn't you, it was somebody else who had your exact same name, looked exactly like you, had your exact same profession, and was here to schedule the exact same surgery. This happened to a guy named Brady Feigl in 2015, and his situation was even weirder than what I described because, as you can see, he is very distinct looking. Everything about him, in fact, is unusual. He is 6'4". He's a ginger with a red, bushy beard. He has glasses. He has an unusual job. He's a pitcher for professional baseball and was there for a rare surgery to have what they call Tommy John surgery on his pitching arm. The staff at the surgeon's office was very confused because they had already spoken to this guy, also named Brady Feigl, also exactly 6'4", also a ginger with a red, bushy beard and glasses. Also a minor league baseball pitcher, also there to get Tommy John surgery. These men had never met. Both were totally unaware of the other. And you think you know where the story is going, that they went to have a DNA test and found out that they are long-lost siblings who just somehow wound up with the same name. In 2019, they had that test done. They did it on TV for a show called Inside Edition and found they are not related at all. There is no explanation here. Each of these men simply found out that day that there is an almost exact copy of them out walking around. Somebody who has the same name, looks the same, has the same job, got the same arm injury at the same time, and went to get it treated at the same doctor's office at the same time. And hey, it's a big world. There could easily be another one of you out there somewhere.
Clones, bro.
All I gotta say is Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. Like, that's all I gotta say about that.
What?
Who knows? Because, like, bro, you could easily find a person that looks just like Jeffrey Epstein if that exists. You know what I mean?
This is different than that, though. He's got the same name, too.
That
is so weird.
Same doctor's office, same surgery, same profession.
It's not like his name was Steve Smith or something like that. Like, that would be a real common name. His name was Brady Feigl. They were both professional pitchers.
There's tons of people that look like you out there, though. There's probably another JT out there.
Is there another JT who does podcasts too?
There might be.
I'm just saying, like, that is.
How many pitchers are there in the world? Wonder if one's like major.
How many professional ones there are in the world?
Yeah, how many?
Not very many. To get paid to play baseball?
Do you think there's more podcasters?
Yeah, but again, we're talking about way more similarities than just that. Is the fact that this person was getting the exact same surgery too.
I wonder if
the exact same name. They look very similar, and yeah, they're both professional baseball players. They got the exact same name.
Like,
that is creepy. I almost want to say that. What if the DNA test was somebody scammed it because they had almost exactly the same DNA?
Yeah, that DNA test is bogus. They
It sounds like
it
more
on
like to me like
Povich.
this is a clone situation. This is something that happened in Brazil or Argentina, where one of these Operation Paperclip type doctors was creating a group of superhuman redheads
Clones,
with Nephilim DNA.
Someone said in the comments
on
on
the redhead connection. You got to say that has something to do with it. It's Nephilims, bro. It's demons, bro.
The redhead for sure, but I mean, I don't know. It's weird for sure.
That's one of those ones where you think I had to look it up. I said this can't be real. It's real.
I didn't know how they met, but I did know about those two people. I have seen that image before and seen them before.
You heard the story before?
Met. Yeah, I didn't know that they met through the doctor's office though. That's crazy.
I mean, that's
okay.
insane.
JT,
right?
you're...
And the thing is, not only that, they went to go see the same doctor too. That's another one.
It's pretty random.
Or is it random?
Yeah, that's a...
JT, your homework is to watch the Jordan Peele movie Us.
Isn't that movie is the movie The Island with
But is it Us?
Ewan McGregor? Isn't that
Yeah, I
have
think
something
it's
to do
Us.
with that too, where they're creating like these people to replace other people?
Yeah, the island is exactly. They've got a whole island full of people that are living a life, and they know that one day they're going to get to leave where they're at and go like to the lands beyond, basically. But they don't realize that like they're going to eventually replace somebody else. That's essentially what they're for, or get killed.
Bro, that actually makes sense. Like that. Did one of these guys get out?
And Us is the same story, only they all live underground, and they find their way out. And the story is that there is a clone version of every single person that exists, and they start coming out, and they start going out, and they start killing these people and taking their lives over.
That's creepy, dude. It's creepy. That actually makes. I know that sounds like the craziest explanation, but that's the one that makes the most sense. Then everything was just an accident. It was all just giant coincidence.
And
it's
most
like, again,
of Jordan,
like my last name is not that common, but if you look it up on the internet, there's a lot of people with my last name. Feigl seems like an unusual name. It's kind of like if you live in this certain town, you have this unique name. It's weird if you have somebody living in the town you're not related to. A guy named Brady Feigl. Yeah, what if he came from paradise under the mountains of Colorado? He snuck out. He snuck out, and you were supposed to wait for this other one to die. Then he's living his life.
Too soon, buddy. Too soon. You came out too soon.
What if that was like, what if that was their clone backup guy to replace him or something?
Yeah, right. And he got out too soon, and he's trying to live his life, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's going to be on Inside Edition and everything. Like, how are we going to explain this? Just tell him it's a coincidence. Fine. And
There's
everybody else
another...
like, well, it's fine. It's totally normal. I mean, it's unusual, but it's normal.
There was another show called Orphan Black. I've only seen a couple of episodes. I had to stop watching it because it's got a lot of nudity in it, but it was about clones. It's about this woman who... She comes back to town. She's standing at the train station. She looks over. She sees a woman that looks exactly like her. She looks at her. She starts walking towards her. She's taking her shoes off, her jacket off. She sets her purse down. She's getting ready to walk over and jump in front of a train and off herself. And as she's walking up to her, she sees this woman, and she sees that it's literally her. And she throws herself in front of the train, and she's got a horrible life. She's like a dealer and all this other stuff, and she's trying to get custody of her kid again. And then she ends up taking this woman's life over because she left her purse on the ground. So she sees her ID. She sees that it's literally her. She ends up finding out there's this whole like web of, there's like multiple versions of her. And they're all the same age. They all come from different walks of life. Some of them have accents, some of them don't. And they end up finding out that they're all clones.
Well, that's
pretty
like
wild.
That's like in The Prestige, remember? So the Tesla machine, like the transporting man.
Yeah.
And it just creates a clone of him. And then so Hugh Jackman, when he first does it, he has a gun and he kills his own clone.
Yeah, dude.
This is some old school Tesla tech. Transporting man.
Yeah, man. And I have to preface too by recommending that you watch Us. I will say it's been years since I've seen it, so I think it's fairly violent, and I don't remember. I can't exactly give it a flying approval with 2 thumbs up in terms of like content wise, because I'm sure my convictions are quite different now. But I will say the premise, it stuck with me, and I remembered it because it was very troubling. It was very like, why would someone write a movie about this? This feels oddly specific.
Yeah.
And Jordan Peele's movies, that's the thing though. Jordan Peele's movies, they feel like disclosure. All of them. Every one of his movies feels like disclosure.
Well, it's kind of weird that, so Jordan Peele from Kay and Peele, and it was just a comedy sketch show, that the kind of movies they make are not like the show at all.
No, the movies, yeah, the movies. Well, so it's just Jordan Peele. It's just the shorter one that makes them. But like he's obviously like super into filmmaking because he was also the host for the 2020 or the late 2010s version of the Twilight Zone. He rebooted it.
Right.
And so
of course, that's what his movies are like. They're like Twilight Zone episodes.
Yeah, but they all feel like disclosure. Every single one of his movies feels like disclosure. So there's that movie, there's Get Out, right? Which Kanye famously said was about him. And that one's about
the Kardashians
replacing the soul, replacing the brain, putting it in a new body. It's about, mind control. It's about all of that stuff that we, have kind of come to learn is something that they do, something that the controllers and the elite are into. And then there's Us, and then there was it Nope? I think, which was
there was
like
another
the
one.
disclosure.
I know. Is that the one? I do remember there was one about some alien ship coming down, right?
And it was like in the clouds. It was hiding in the clouds. This whole alien was like hiding in the clouds. It was so oddly specific, dude.
Yeah, the only thing that I've ever really seen from those movies was the trailers are normally pretty good. I remember when my brother sent me the trailer to that. Oh, by the way, teasers. I'm gonna have to show this trailer for this movie, but before I do that, I've got another interesting video to talk about. This relates back to the first video because you remember I was interested in the camels. Well, let's watch a video. Let's watch a video about camels.
Here's a fact that your teachers they never told you: camels, they're actually originated from America. They're not from the Middle East, Texas, Arizona, the Southwest, right here. That's where camels come from. The first camels on Earth, thousands of fossils were found right here in North America. Not Arabia, not Africa, right here in America. Let me ask you, if camels, the same ones that they show you in ancient Bible stories, were born here in America, what else did they lie to you guys about? Remember, you have to ask yourself, why does America have red clay, the 4 rivers, the oldest animal fossils, and the original species mentioned in the scriptures? Because remember, I've told you guys that America isn't just a country. America is ancient. It's older than Africa, it's older than Europe, and it's older than the war map that they taught you. You see, camels being from Arizona, being from Texas in the Southwest, isn't just the beginning. The whole timeline is wrong. The whole map is wrong. Did you guys know the Statue of Liberty? They say it was a gift from France. But if it's a gift from France, on what ship did it come here on? All ships back then were wooden. So you have to ask yourself, was the Statue of Liberty already here, or was it really a gift? That's why I say to you, brothers and sisters, the Matrix is breaking. People are beginning to wake up.
Dude, that whole America being the old world, actually, and being like the Holy Land and being all of that stuff, they say that the Mississippi River is actually the Nile. There's so much. Like, I started going down that rabbit hole and sharing that kind of content before my accounts got banned on TikTok a couple of years ago. But it leaves more questions than there are answers. But there's so many cities that are named in scripture that are found in Utah and California and Arizona, right around that area.
Yeah, some people think that Utah was Judah.
Right.
Judah.
Right.
Now, I don't know, but I mean, it is interesting. I want to say that there's been people who kind of put some things together about like things that are indigenous to North America that don't grow in the Middle East, like gopher wood, things like that, like Noah built the ark out of. I forgot there was a few other ones, like animal species. They were here, not there. And of course, Vitaly often mentioned it. And it could just be, I'm not sure if it's, I have to look at the translation, but it mentions that the apostles were picking heads of, some translations say they were picking heads of grain off and eating them. And of course, that's not something you can eat you couldn't eat really raw grain. It would make you sick. It wouldn't satisfy your hunger.
Unless it was corn.
Because it was corn. But if it was corn like maize, we're told that maize kind of corn was not found by people over there until they came to the New World.
Yep. There's a lot of questions, man. There's a lot of very fascinating stuff. And then you combine that with all of the artifacts and stuff that they found in the Grand Canyon. All of the... And that's the crazy part, too, is like there's so many different Sphinx shapes and pyramids and stuff in in the Southwest, specifically in America,
Mm-hmm.
that it would appear are way older than the ones in Egypt because they're decayed. They barely hold their shape.
They were smoked. We often say that these things here.
That's what it looks like.
That I think that, yeah, the stuff out in the Southwest, it looks like it got just absolutely destroyed. We actually said, I'll tease this if you guys have not seen this. Of course, I'll have to send you guys this video off the platform because Josh and I just recorded the latest Ancient Roots podcast. And this guy on TikTok did some great research showing an old map of Tartaria, and they showed it with like modern maps where China was. He used AI to find the city on here. It's somewhere called the I want to say it's the was it the Nur Loop or something like that over in China. And there's these ancient ruins, and it is crazy. The whole place around it's all desert, and it's just, you can tell like that there's no denying that these were actual buildings before. But there's so many parts of it that look like there's parts of preservation, but they're mostly just absolutely scorched and wrecked, melted stuff. And it's undeniable, like you said, because you can see bricks in parts of it. So you can't ever, so no scientist could ever say it was caused by erosion. But anyways, that whole thing, and that's kind of, we got into this topic about how, yeah, that the areas that are desert on the earth now, that was not their natural state. That was a judgment of God on these places. So if you look at the Southwest, there's lots of evidence of that, but maybe the judgment was so harsh that there wasn't. And maybe if there was ruins, then maybe they got rid of them too. But of course there is ruins. I mean, actually there is ruins in the Badlands, and they just call it the Anasazi did it. And the Anasazi really doesn't mean anything. It just means ancient ones. It doesn't. It's not a tribe's
Native
name.
American. Yeah, there's tons of Native American ruins in Arizona specifically, all over the place, in the mountains, over like from 2 or 3 different tribes, allegedly. But they're all over the place, built into the mountains. But I mean, like, you look at some of those things and it's like, did they go in and like grab a bunch of rocks and stones and like stack them up to make them look like little forts and fortresses? You know, like, I don't know. There's so many questions, but there's so many carvings and stuff. Like, there are places I could take you to go hike where they're not on any maps, they're not in any books, they're not. You can't Google them, and you will see like is it petroglyphs?
Yeah,
like,
petroglyphs. Yeah,
carved in or written into the stone, different shapes, different writings, different things, and they're not anywhere. They're not like in any magazines. They're not online. They're everywhere, dude.
I think that a lot of the petroglyphs and the cave kind of art from the Native Americans, I think, this is my take on it, I think that stuff is way newer than the structures or the rocks that they're drawing on.
I agree.
Because it almost feels like, is this somebody just, basically spray painting an old wall? And it's like, you would never today assume that the person who tagged the wall with the spray paint built the wall. But I think that's what they want you to believe, is it these people who do these petroglyphs that look no more advanced than what your toddler could do on a rock versus like what's there. And they're kind of like the degradation of the structure, and even like the Anasazi cliff dwellings. What if
the
they
petroglyphs can bring question to the narrative? Actually,
what's that?
The petroglyphs, a lot of times bring question to the narrative that they're telling. In fact, I just talked to a Native American guy, and he was telling me like he knows where some petroglyphs are because they're always oftentimes like hidden in places far out into nowhere.
They were all over the Valley of Fire when we went.
Yeah, but they're everywhere. But they're in a lot of places. They'll be in little spots of nowhere. You'll find these petroglyph stuff. But he has petroglyphs that he has photos of that he has a location. He's not allowed to show it because people will try to destroy it. But it's straight petroglyphs of them hunting a brontosaurus, like hunting a dinosaur. And there's also petroglyphs of them with mermaids. Like people killing mermaids. That's the oldest petroglyphs in France. Do you know that?
I've never seen that. No.
The oldest petroglyphs in France are supposedly in the world are a race of people, stick figure people, killing stick figure mermaids, and they're like fighting a race of mermaids.
See,
That's the oldest
that's the
petroglyphs.
thing, Brian. I think that's the stuff I'm taking issue with, is because I think that's what they want us to believe is
Yeah, but
that
they don't want us to believe dinosaurs existed with them.
But it doesn't matter. I mean, dragons, dinosaurs, again, big lizards. That's not important. I'm talking about like the fact that these ancient peoples, this is their skill level. Is not only are they painting something, but they paint it like a child did it. These people, they want you to think these people were super primitive. But
I
I'm
see what
saying
you're
like that when you see even like the Anasazi cliff dwellings, do they look the way they look now because they've been absolutely just wrecked? And then somebody later kind of retrofitted them to the time, and like maybe the more primitive people then said, oh, this is still usable because it's like right on this sheer cliff. But what did it look like before it got wrecked?
Well, it could have been that, or it could have been the people that were trying to survive that lost all of their technology and all of their everything after there was a giant cataclysm, and they didn't have much.
Well, right. It's we've talked about it before. What was that movie? The Time Machine, I think. Had Guy Pearce in it. And I think it's based on like a book in an older movie that did it. But when he went way into the future, people were back to like cavemen days. And they were living up high because they were being attacked by these monsters that came from under the earth.
Yep.
So I think that actually makes sense too, is that these people who survived, all their tech was like wiped out for the most part.
Which, if you think about it, because they do seem like they were done more recently, all of that would support like every theory that you have about the Little Season and the
even the lizard people that live under the ground that are hunting us.
Right. Exactly. You know what? I got a really good video that would transition nicely to that. It's about kind of the peak of certain civilizations that just ended in a flash. And we've got we have absolutely rock solid evidence. And I mean that, no pun intended.
You just brought up the unfinished obelisk in Egypt. That was by far the largest obelisk that they had ever created, okay? More than double the size of the biggest one.
Right.
Meanwhile, in Easter Island, the largest moai ever that was being created, like 2 to 3 times bigger than any of the moai that are there, was being taken out of the host rock, just like in Egypt. Meanwhile, you go across the world to China. You go to a place called Yangshan Quarry in China, and they were in the middle of taking out the largest blocks in human history. Some of them weighed like well over 1,000 tons. Meanwhile, you add one more, Baalbek, Lebanon, and the quarries there, they were taking out the largest that they'd ever done, and they never made it out of the quarry. What you have in common with all of these locations from everywhere around the world is that the civilization was in the midst of creating the largest that they had ever created of these structures, which means that they're at the height of their civilization because they were taking on the biggest projects they'd ever done globally. Everyone was. And then all of a sudden the work stopped out of nowhere and they just vanished. That tells us a few things. It tells us, one, they probably were caught off guard somewhat, or they wouldn't be taking on massive projects right before they're about to be destroyed. And two, the scope of these events must have been so severe that most of them must have perished.
Or 3, we're in Satan's little season.
I still think that was a great point because you can't deny that if that's the biggest obelisk that's ever existed and it's still in the quarry and it's almost completely done, then you have the pregnant, the stone of the pregnant woman, I think, in Baalbek, that I can't even remember how big they said that would, if the estimated weight of it, but it's over 1 million pounds, like well over 1 million pounds. And you got the same example in Easter Island, and you got the same things happening in China.
Worldwide.
So this is all around the whole earth. Some event happened. Now it could be, truth be told, this would be kind of consistent with my existing belief about the ancient megaliths. This could have been the days of Noah. This could have been the flood. They could be that old. But
they don't have water erosion on some of these things, so it shows that it's not been underwater.
Well, I mean, if during the flood it wouldn't be underwater for very long.
Yeah, true.
Right, because everything did dry up. But that's one possibility, is that if the fountains of the deep opened up, firmament opens up, and they were caught unaware. But I often wonder too, with the kind of the understanding of the mud flood, that we already have this layer of sediment that covers most things. You can imagine how much more sediment would have covered things after the deluge. So how much lower would those things be? So if you really think about it, how much did they have to excavate to find those giant stones where they're being shown, right? Because if they're near the surface of the earth right now, it actually makes more sense that what if these things took place when the trumpet judgments or the bowls of wrath were being poured out? Because like I said, I think that's a undeniable fact that these places were at the peak, and you have examples around the whole world, and something stopped them, literally dead in their tracks, and they were not ready for it, and they're gone, and now we don't have the real story behind it.
Bro, you mentioned the trumpets. My buddy just messaged me today, and he was like, dude, I just heard a skyquake in my town. He was like, I've never heard it before. And he said it sounded like a trumpet, like just a long, like.
Was it the shofar, Brian? Was it you? Like, was you blowing the shofar?
No, I wasn't blowing the shofar. But he's not from where I'm at. He's in the Midwest somewhere now. And so like he just like told me, he's like, bro, it's kind of creepy.
The power of your shofar blows, man.
Yeah. Oh yes, true. Could reach
like a
further,
dog whistle.
much further. But dude, like he said, it was like pretty creepy. So like think about that. Like what if those skyquakes we're hearing are like the remnant of the sound reverberating of the trumpet, just like continuing around and spontaneously
echoing
just, like,
in the firmament,
echoes,
forever.
Right? That's what I'm saying. Like, what if that's what that is?
Bouncing off of different points perpetually.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear? Well, there also to that point, there also is. I forget what country it is. I'm drawing a blank, so I'm not even going to try to remember. But you guys can all look it up. There's a country that has like massive sinkholes opening right now, all over the country.
Well, those things are always bizarre. Every time you see them on like TikTok or something, it's like they do seem like that they're not necessarily common, but they're not uncommon. These things just take place. And again, I think the sinkhole is just more evidence that things got buried, and that's why sometimes the ground just gives way to these holes, this quote unquote hollow earth that's under us.
Yeah, I mean, if the fountains of the deep were opened up and the earth was flooded as a result of that, as well as the waters coming down from above the firmament, then it would make sense that possibly some of those are going to open back up, right? Maybe they've been closed off super deep, but they're opening back up towards the surface. There's just there's so much we don't know. But no, I know they happen fairly often, but there's one country right now where like thousands of them are popping up right now.
That's creepy.
It's not like they've had a few of them and people are freaking out. Like they're happening all over the country. Some in cities.
I'd freak out if there was. I mean, that's a really scary thought. I mean, it's like the biblical story about the Korhites. They were trying to rebel against Moses and Aaron, and the earth just opened up and swallowed them up.
Yeah, dude.
Korhites.
Yeah, the Korhites.
Yeah, the core. They just got swallowed.
Yeah, they went down to the core. Yeah.
Dude, there was a story in Florida just a few years ago about someone that was in their home and some sinkhole popped up and just their home in their neighborhood got swallowed into the ground.
I'm
just
telling
their
you,
home.
That's judgment of the Lord.
What did they do?
You would definitely think that's a judgment from God.
What were they up to deserve their home getting sucked into the ground? What a way to die, dude. You're like 1 second you're like, sitting in front of your TV or whatever, doing whatever you do in your house. And the next second you're choking on sand, dude, after like your whole house shook. Like what in the world, man? That guy didn't even know what hit him.
Some kind of lazy boy just plopped down.
Boom.
Crazy.
All right, I got another video that kind of relates to that. So recently there was a pretty big discovery at Easter Island. Have you heard about this, Brian?
I don't know, maybe.
I haven't heard about it. I'm fascinated with Easter Island.
Most people think Easter Island is a simple story, a remote island. A few hundred giant stone heads and one massive unfinished moai lying in a quarry. But that's the tourist version. The real story, the one almost no one talks about, is hidden in the new 3D scans. And once you see them, you can't unsee them, because it turns out it's not just one unfinished moai, it's dozens everywhere, stacked in lines, layered into the hillside, rows of giants frozen mid-creation, like a production line that suddenly stopped. Look closely at these scans, and you'll notice something no one ever mentions. They all look like they were started at the exact same time. Same depth, same shape, same orientation, almost like someone or something began carving an entire army of stone statues all at once. But here's where it gets strange. Archaeologists rarely talk about this place. Most documentaries skip it entirely. Guides on the island barely mention it unless you ask. And even then, they give you the safe answer, the script one. Why? Why does the world treat Easter Island quarry like a footnote, when it might be the biggest megalithic mystery on Earth? Why is almost nothing excavated here? Why are there massive trenches, cut channels, and machine-like grooves that nobody explains? Why do we keep hearing about deforestation and collapse, but never about the industrial complex of this site? And the biggest question of all, if this really is just simple stone carving done with handheld tools, then why does the quarry look like a synchronized construction project? Like a factory frozen in time? Nothing about this place makes sense.
That's crazy, dude. There were so many of them almost done.
That's wild, right? And see, the thing that he didn't mention that I wish he would have was that just like we showed the unfinished obelisk, and I'm not the first person to ask this question. I'm thinking everybody asks this question. How were they supposed to get it off the bedrock? You know what I mean? So like that seemed like that's what they were doing when they were carving these statues. So they were carving down into the mountain, carving these moai out. So you would obviously be able to shape the whole front of it and the sides. How do you get it up after you've done all that? How do you get it unattached? I mean, like, unless you had something that could just laser right through there, and then you still got to stand it up. That's great. Like that. I don't know. I don't understand that at all.
See, that's fascinating to me. But to me, the thing that I'm more fascinated by is the why. Why were they carving so many of those? Like it was like their lives depended on it. Why did they feel the need to make so many of those things and put them all over the island? Like that's so, because even if they did have crazy technology that we're not familiar with which it seems pretty obvious that they did, why? What were they doing it for? It wasn't about money. Was it about protection? Were they trying to like protect themselves? Were they trying to, was it like a warning shot to anyone that might try to come to the island? Like why? Like what were they trying to do?
Yeah, Easter Islands is definitely unusual because, well, for one thing, actually, I know that my buddy Derek Olson, he's taken trips there. And the one thing he's talked about is there are stories about giants there. And there's also megalithic walls and structures there, but they never show them. It's kind of like what he was saying, like that people are not, that like the archaeological community are not highlighting this weird part of the island, probably because people start asking questions they don't have answers to.
Right.
But it's a great question because is there another example of a place where they built so many similar statues with not a lot of other evidence of civilization there?
Not at all, dude.
I'm looking at Easter Island right now on Google Maps or on iPhone Maps because it's got that 3D scan and it's super interesting. There's a bunch of volcanoes all around that area and you can like see them. I'm trying to look for that spot that he was actually at.
The
but
whole
it's super
island,
fascinating.
But yeah, I want to say we
But
talked
there's not
about
like
it
a whole
before.
lot of vegetation necessarily either. So it's like, why would they inhabit this island?
Well, that's one of the things that people have pointed out, because the scientists say that they must use trees to roll these giant things down to get them put in place near the coast. But then there's not the vegetation. There's not trees. There's not a bunch of trees to do it with. And of course, I think that they have concluded that maybe that's what caused the deforestation of the place. It's so stupid. The point is,
it looks like it's mostly stone to begin with.
Right.
Like
right.
So it's like, were they cannibals? Were
Probably.
they fishing? I mean, right? Like, there's just so many questions.
The question is, why would they need to make so many of them at the same time?
Exactly. What purpose did they serve? And you don't see them anywhere else in the world, right?
One of them.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not that they just made one of them. There was a full production.
There was tons of them. There's tons of them there that are there. I guess they said again in that one other video that the biggest one is still in the quarry.
You know what it makes me think? It makes me think that maybe they were trying to make a protection from giants, from other giants. It makes me think like maybe this island was, because if you read the stories like Hernan Cortez talks about, or no, Sir Francis Drake talks about the island of dog people that were giant dog people at Catalina Island. It makes you wonder, like, I wonder if they were wanting. Yeah, the Canaanites.
Is it like an old school gargoyle?
Yeah, it's in a way they wanted to make it look like there was a bunch of giant beings on their island, so that way if anybody else tried to come there, they had bigger giants that would scare the other ones away from a distance. Because from a distance, maybe they kind of looked like people enough. Maybe it looked like
that could be
that kind. Like, so maybe it was like a distance sort of security thing to like build an island of giant people from a distance or something. Like maybe that was their goal.
What if they were trolls that were turned to stone?
And they were cut out of the stone. They were turned into.
Well, they
stone.
just lay down. Like some of them lay down in their little beds.
Their little perfectly cut beds.
They never got back up.
Then they need to be looking for the skeleton of Bilbo Baggins is what they need to be doing.
No, it's absolutely fascinating. And what, of course, I always mention that Easter Island is probably one of the most remote places on the whole earth, where it's very far from every place. So it is interesting that you have these very distinct statues that look, kind of mostly primitive the way they're carved, but the amount of them they carved, these people are not primitive. It was more like they were just going for this one aesthetic, and you can't see any kind of representation. I don't think anywhere else in the whole world of any other statue that resembles that.
And think about what it would have taken to sustain life there. Like, how many people were working on that? That was a massive undertaking. How many people? How many mouths to feed?
Like they were a lot of rock digging.
Well, that's the thing. I think that's the thing that probably makes it harder to explain for archaeologists, is that if it's the whole community working on one, that makes more sense. But when you see that all the ones that were taking place at the same time, now you're thinking like how much resources are allocated to create very bizarre statues.
I think it was built by little people. I think little Nephilim people that have an ability to manipulate rock built them and then stood them up to scare the others away.
Well, again, they had to manipulate rock in some kind of way we don't know about, again, because I don't think I've ever got a good answer. Again, how do you get the statues off the bedrock when you've carved them on three sides?
Frequency or lasers, man. It's one of the two.
Something had to break them away from that. Because, once you get them down there, what do they... You imagine how crudely you'd have to chip under it, how jacked it would be on the bottom.
Well, imagine if it, like, scary it would be chipping under that.
Have you guys ever seen...
you guys know what the... Well, especially if you think about it, like, wouldn't it make more sense if you have a mountain, right? And you carve it into the face, right?
Upright.
Not upright.
Yes.
Wouldn't it make more sense? Because then when you tried to carve around it, then it seems like that would be, I don't know, easier. But having it flat like that, weighing, I mean, how many tons did some of those weigh?
It had to do with transport, obviously. Like, right? That's the only reason they would have done it that way, is because it was easier for them to transport it flat on its back than it was for them to do it standing upright. So, have you guys ever seen? You guys know what a didgeridoo is? Those like big long tubes you blow into, and they're like.
Oh yeah. Is that what they do in the Aborigines in Australia use?
Right. So you could put like a metal ball that weighs multiple pounds in the middle of one of those at the bottom, and when you use your sound vibration to echo in that chamber at the bottom, it'll float it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it'll float. Whatever's in the middle of that resonance chamber will float. So like that's one of the ways that a lot of people believe that they used frequency to float some of those things. So like, what if there was some kind of handheld device or contraption? What if it had to do with those things that they're always holding? What if there was some kind of, well, you know how they're all holding that like cross with a loop looking thing at the end of it, in Egypt?
Oh yeah. What do they call that?
Right.
Yeah, that's
Ankh. It's called an ankh.
What if there was some kind of handheld device that blasted a frequency so strong that whatever they pointed it at would create that resonance and that frequency, and it would float it? That's not even out of the realm of possibility. Like that could very well have been a thing. And then they could have floated that, they could have had two people, maybe one at each end, like zapping that thing with sound frequency, and it lifts it and it floats it off the ground in a similar way that magnets do. Magnets obviously is
another. They put it in the back of a pickup truck.
In the back
it
of an
still doesn't
Isuzu.
make a lot of sense. Okay, I got
No,
one
it
last
doesn't.
video, and I'm not sure if you guys have seen this. There was this trailer for this movie about aliens. Have you guys seen this? I'm not sure exactly
Goodness.
if I can play this whole thing for YouTube. So if you guys don't see this, of course, it will be on the Patreon cut. But there is a movie coming out that is about to change everything potentially.
And we bind any evil or demonic spirits that are within this movie preview in Jesus' name.
Amen.
They're finally going to admit that aliens are demons.
Seems like that. It seems super demonic. You know, it's interesting. This kind of theme's coming up a lot with like reindeer. Do you remember when wasn't it in Leave the World Behind? Didn't it involve like some kind of deer or something?
Or
and
elk.
then there was a lot of videos going around about these reindeer or something running around in circles. Then you had Frozen 2, where there's a scene where the reindeer are all going in circles. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. There's a lot of scenes. There's another movie, not Frequency. There's another movie, I forget the name of the actor, where there's like this cell phone frequency that zaps people when they hear it from the phone. And the very last scene is there's this giant tower, and everyone that listens to this tone turns into some kind of zombie. There's this tower at the end of the movie, and they're all circling this tower like mindlessly.
Oh yeah. Because I remember I saw a video about that actually before I was ever gonna. I don't know how I got into this algorithm, but I was gonna do a video about all that stuff, and I was seeing all the circular stuff in the movies and things like that. I think eventually I found some kind of weather manipulation idea, and that's what I end up going with. But I want to say that there was these people doing these kind of experiments with insects and animals, and they were putting down like a cell phone or something with some kind of a frequency coming from it, and the insects were all going around it. They were just circling around it. I think that has to be related. It's something that's connecting with the animals, and it's like that's what they're kind of showing in these movies, that the animals are more sensitive to this stuff, and so they sense it first, and then they are acting bizarre, and then that's leading to whatever's coming.
I would agree with that. If Brian were here, he'd probably also attribute the horned animals to having something to do with the horned beasts that are commonly used in the occult. The reference to the different horned animals. In fact, you and I talked about that not too long ago. Did we talk about that on the last podcast?
Yeah. We talked a little bit about that. I think we were talking about Krampus.
Yeah, exactly. So there's always some kind of tribute to like the horned beasts or the different horned animals. They always have horns.
Well, that's why
And
that's why the devil has horns. That's why a lot of these these ancient gods had horns, is because they were
Yeah.
associated with bulls, goats, deer, things like that.
But yeah, Leave the World Behind had the elk approaching humans.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see that there in that one as well, with the addition of the bird, of course, on the. So I don't know, man.
Why a cardinal? First, I'm trying to like pick up all the
Right?
symbolism in this, and it's like, yeah, there's something about this little red bird.
But I feel like, I mean, how long has it been since Steven Spielberg made a movie? You know what I mean? Like, it's been a long time. It's like they pulled him out and they said, "Hey, we got another one we need you to put out. We got some more disclosure we need to give the people." It says Disclosure Day, and like my first thought when I saw the title and then I saw the preview was, I feel like what they're telling us is like that movie and the release of it is Disclosure Day. Like that will be the Disclosure Day. Like I've often told people, like, we're not going to get what people think we are. We're not going to get a big sit down. We're not going to get the news coming together and saying, "All right, everybody, everyone sit down and hold on tight. We're about to disclose all this crazy stuff to you." It's not going to happen like that. It's never going to go down like that. It's going to happen like that.
I'm going to say the Lord took me off online completely. My lights started flashing and everything. And he said, "Do not play that video." Just so you know. I'm going to tell you what I heard. I'm going to say whatever's in that message that spoken in demonic tongues,
That's why I took my headphones off.
You don't even understand what it says, JT, and you may think it just sounds like a sound, bro. I could hear so many.
Maybe we can edit out the
bro, I'm going to tell you right now,
the weird clicking and stuff out of it.
Bro, you don't even know in the spirit, like, bro, there's a very bad message being put out, bro. Don't, like, the Lord my whole computer just went out and my lights just started flashing uncontrollably.
That's literally why I prayed that prayer first.
He said,
I took my headphones off.
Okay, so
God said,
we'll
not even
do
be. He said for me not to even be on there. He says I should not even be in the presence of that spoken word. So do not cut me out of whatever.
We'll clip out the clicking part in there, and everybody knows what it is. But yeah, that stuff is real creepy. It kind of reminds me of like the those African tribes who kind of talk in like the clicking and the weird kind of noises out of their throats. Is that what that is?
That was demonic tongues, bro. That was a demonic spirit speaking through that, giving a message to the world and declaring something very wicked. That was not good. That's what that was.
It's dark, man.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think that, but yeah, of course, it's the way that Spielberg has been kind of one at the forefront of the whole alien stuff that's permeated the culture. Where if you didn't have movies like Close Encounters of the Third Kind, with the reveal at the end of these aliens looking like what we know to be a gray alien, you know what I mean? Without a Spielberg, is that really permeated in the culture with these beings that are very slender with gigantic eyes, weird bulbous heads? Like that's where that really. Was there another movie that really kind of showed that prototypical alien that now is the alien that everybody talks about, the gray alien phenomenon? Gray or green,
they still the demon that Aleister Crowley drew. That's about it.
It's very similar, obviously, but the difference is like in the Spielberg version, it's always got gigantic eyeballs, which some people have made the connection is that being, is it mean it comes from a place with not a lot of light? That's why it's got the giant eyes. I guess you could kind of go either way. Like that, some beings that live underground, kind of like a mole, they're basically blind. But then other beings have big eyes because I guess it's letting a lot of light through.
I've always felt like the praying mantis was like a microscopic version of a demon.
Well, isn't
For
that?
real.
I know that
the praying.
Talk about Tim Alvarino. Tim Alvarino
Right?
is he talks about the different races of aliens, and I think it comes from like some new agey belief where there's these seven races of aliens. There's like the Palladian aliens, whatever, right? What do they call those ones, Brian?
Yeah, Palladians is one of them.
Yeah, they're like the kind of the good looking
there's
ones.
mantis ones as well.
But yeah, there's like the insectoids. There's the gray aliens. Yeah, I think that comes from like new age stuff. But I've heard about that. Yeah, the insectoids. The insectoids are supposedly I guess they're above the grays.
Praying mantises have always given me such a weird feeling. But if you think about the noise that comes from that video, it's very insect-like.
Right. Yes.
I will say, guys, don't watch that video. Don't watch that commercial. It is not good for your spirit. Don't even watch the commercial. Don't even watch that. It is not good for your spirit. There is a
What if you
demonic
just cut
curse
out the
being
noise?
spoken over
I think the rest of it's just a movie trailer.
But how are they going to watch the movie and not receive the demonic spirit being conjured there, bro? That was a demon being conjured there. So yeah, I've dealt with demons. I dealt with so many demonic stuff. I recognize it full on board. Like that was like a demonic spirit speaking out that person.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say you're wrong, but I would say, yeah, obviously everybody take Brian's, word with, if you guys believe what he's saying is true. Yeah, you guys obviously are adults. You guys can do what you want, but I don't know. I just think it's significant. Of course, I think it's significant. Like what Aaron was saying is we have been waiting for what is been told as disclosure for a while. And it does seem like that the way that movies have always presented it is like there's this one day where they reveal a spaceship or an alien literally shows up and he's hanging out with Donald Trump and he's on the news. But it seems like the way that disclosure has actually been happening, it's been kind of dripped out. And now it's kind of out here now. And I think that's kind of the more weirder part for me is that some of the reveals or some of the things they talk about before Congress or they say on the news now, if they had dropped all the things they said in one day by some government official, everyone would have been freaking out. But they've done it so much now where it's like I'm like totally shocked where people they seem unbothered by any of it. That like the Pentagon has like a UFO guy. There's potentially a mothership in our universe or our galaxy that's the origin of all the UFOs. And then people just say, yeah, but what is Nicki Minaj and Kim Kardashian doing? And they just don't even care. So like if 2026, like what kind of new disclosure they happen? And I think that's the interesting part is like in the trailer, the little girls, clutching the crucifix. At the very end of it, it's this nun speaking about, the God created this whole universe that he created just for us. And so like the implication is they're obviously going to tie it into.
They should have Tim Alberino be in there in that movie. Sure.
Right. But I mean, they're obviously tying into the religious beliefs where they do seem like they're trying to meld the two to make whatever we believe about it fit. Because I think that's the kind of thing where a lot of Christians, biblical Christians, will say we don't believe in aliens. But they're trying to make sure that the nun says that there are, and then the little girl who's a Christian believes that there are, and how they're trying to fit the two together.
I'm pretty sure that demonic noise that has been removed from the video that everyone just watched, by the way, and I absolutely agree with Brian. That's literally why I prayed before you showed the trailer. Don't go out and watch the trailer on your own out of curiosity. Like, please just trust us on that. But I believe that noise that they played, I believe that was actual recorded demonic utterings. I don't think those were recreated. I think those were actually real recorded demonic noises.
Yep.
Words.
It does feel like that.
It absolutely was.
To Brian and your point,
that's why that's why my computer went off and God said, "Get off now."
It
and
felt like it went on for way too long. Just watching the trailer, it went on for like if I was cutting a trailer, I don't think you had to do it for as long as they did it, but it was like it was much longer, and they had to put it in at the end too. Like there was I think you're right that there was some kind of intention with that. Because you could have got the point across without it being, what was it, like 20 or 30 seconds? It felt like forever as far as
it came back in a couple of times too. They did that like toward in the middle, towards the beginning, and then towards the end as well. Yeah, like I literally had to remove my headphones when you played it, and I still heard it like a little bit coming through my headphones, and it just makes my soul cringe.
Well, anyways,
it's so dark.
So final thoughts. Is that what they're really trying to do? Are they trying to say that demons are actually aliens? Is that really what they're trying to say?
Obviously.
You know what I mean? Like that, because what we do is we'll say, like, what your first take, Aaron, was that, oh, they're going to reveal that aliens are actually demons, but no, maybe that's what they're doing. It's the opposite. Is they're going to say that demons are actually aliens. So that's kind of more like what like Tim Alberino would say. Like he would explain the alien, the demon phenomenon as aliens, and we're trying to say no, it's the opposite. That these are spiritual entities, regardless. Are they angels, fallen angels, or are they straight up demons?
Or what if they've been prepping everybody for years and decades with movies, and they've given us all the disclosure, and everybody already knows better, and everybody already knows enough to know what they're getting into, and by people watching that movie and listening to those utterings, they're going to be mass possessing people.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that film is like the piece de resistance for Steven Spielberg, and I feel like it's some kind of ultimate achievement for them.
Magnus opus.
I really genuinely truly feel that in my soul. I feel like they're going to be trying to, between all of the things that people have injected themselves with, all of the different disclosures they've given, I feel like by people willingly watching that movie, they're opening up way more than they think they are, and that they're giving consent to be impacted by whatever they're trying to do demonically there. I'm just, that's what it feels like.
I rebuke it, and I have nothing to do with it in the name of Jesus. Nothing to do with that.
Well, so anyways, aliens and demons are the same, or is this angels and demons?
Anyways, I wasn't expecting it to get that heavy, but
Brian, truth be told, you've got lots of computer problems at your house.
Bro,
also.
No, not like this, dude.
Every time you try to come on here, your computer's messed up.
My computer went out and the lights all started flashing, bro. That ain't normal. That ain't nothing I've ever seen. That ain't nothing.
That's why the demon's only on your end.
No, there wasn't the demon.
Demon racer.
Lord. The Lord said, "Get off now." That's what he said. So I was like, "Okay, all right."
Well, I'll just say this: there's 3 people here. Nobody else had computer problems. So,
but to be fair, he did tell me to take my headphones off ahead of time.
I wanted to take mine
I
off,
wasn't
but
prepared
for the
that.
audience's sake. I was going to endure it. Like I said, I don't know. I mean, I think that there's lots of things that we watch that are not necessarily great for your spirit, but we watch them in order to try to find out what they're revealing. So, I mean, again, I'm not saying that I'm not going to necessarily watch it. I also don't go to the movies really anymore, and I really don't want to pay $20. What is it? What's a movie ticket cost? $20 now?
$75. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. It's
no,
ridiculous.
I mean, seriously,
though.
if you take a family to the movies now, it's going to cost you like $100 if you get popcorn and candy. So, anyways, I'm just saying, like, I haven't been to the movies in a while. I don't know that movie is kind of like anything that really interests me all that much, anyways. I do want to hear what it's about. I kind of do want to see what they're revealing, but yeah, I was also troubled by that noise.
That's your spirit, bro. You should listen to it. That's all I'm
maybe
gonna
we need to play it backwards. Maybe it'll say something.
You don't need to play nothing about that thing.
You're way too curious. You're far more curious than me, JT.
I'm gonna get the flamethrower, and then we're gonna play it forwards and backwards, and we're gonna play it at double speed. There was something I don't necessarily. I'm joking, but I do think that there was probably some kind of message in there. But I do kind of wonder, what is that from? Why did they choose that noise?
I think in the video they're showing you that these things are possessing people. They're showing
well,
you
it was
that
showing.
these things...
To go back to maybe we should just talk a little bit before we close. But I thought it was interesting. It was the disclosure was like they were saying it's gonna be all at once, and you could see the pupils of those people's eyes like expand, and it was like a kind of like a Matrix upload, where Neo was getting
all at once.
Yeah, like the people knew, but like how are they showing people that they were getting disclosure? Because it was a person saying it, or is the reveal in them is that kind of the bait and switch? Is that the guy who's saying he's going to disclose it to everybody? Is that actually not a person?
That's a spell.
You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you know what I'm saying? But like in the movie, it's a man who's saying he's going to disclose it to everybody all at once. But is the reveal in the movie going to be that guy is either an alien or is somebody who's possessed by one and he's, you know what I mean? Like he's the
movie,
alien speaking.
The movie's a toy, bro. The spell is that commercial. You just played it. The spell is the commercial. The curse is in the commercial. The movie's just whatever. The movie isn't even a thing. I'm sure the movie's a great story. This curse was spoken over people that watch that commercial. I could feel it in my spirit pretty well. I've heard it several times. It's free. That's why it's free. It's to everybody. Everyone wants to watch the commercial. They want it to go viral.
Every movie trailer is free, Brian.
Yeah, of course. I know, but I'm saying like that's where the spell is. Like you don't need to see the rest of the movie to know.
Okay, point taken. Point taken. So anyways, okay. Well, anyways, guys. On that note, I guess we're not going to get any full analysis from Brian because Brian says it's demons, bro. But anyways, guys, we really appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Once again, if you guys want to watch these early and uncensored, even though this might be slightly censored because of for content reasons, please check me out on Patreon. Support this podcast. You can also support this podcast through Modern Roots Life, supporting your health at the same time. That's a great thing to do. And also, I've got hats in the store. I even said last week that I didn't have my store open, but the hats are available. So anyways, guys, appreciate you guys. Love you guys dearly. God bless you.